Hey everybody, it's Strict 9 with Strict 9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020 playthrough. I'm in my second season as the head coach of the Austin Peay Governors in the OVC Conference, and it's not going as well as it did last year for sure. Last year, that magical run where we made it all the way to the Final Four tournament, won our first round game, had just a great season. I think it was like 24 wins, 25 wins for the year. This year we're at 8-8, and we're 5 games into the conference schedule, and we're 2-3 in conference. So definitely a different team. I'm trying to chalk it up to the age of this team. Our leading scorer is a freshman that I recruited this year. For instance, we're playing a few freshmen really in some key roles, and I think the only senior that we have is, I'll need to go to the roster for that, but the only senior that we have that's getting really any play time is the power forward Greg Edwards, and he's kind of dividing the time. So it's depending on Greg Laws, a junior, a lot of the time now because Laws has been playing better. So hopefully this is a transition year. That's all it means. And next year we can get back to winning. But so far it's just not looking good. A couple things I wanted to hit on before we play a game out today. I'm still dealing with some attitude problems with a few players. Mike Ivory, you can see his mood is still not that great. I'm still sticking to kind of the depth chart that I have for him, so he's not getting a whole lot of play time in general. But here and there, he's, depending on foul trouble and that kind of thing, he is getting a good amount of minutes. The last game we played against Eastern Illinois, he got 16 minutes in the game. Scored 4 points, not great. Had a couple assists. I'd like to see more of that from him personally than scoring, but his defense, not that great either. I mean, 0.3 steals a game. I would hope to see a little bit better numbers there. But he's upset because he wants more playing time, and point guard really is a position where we're struggling. So I'm hoping that, as much as I've kind of hated on this guy in the previous episodes, I'm still hoping that he can develop to his potential, which is 3.5 stars, because at the moment, our starting point guard is a junior with just a 2.5 star potential, and I am not seeing much of anything from this guy. Scoring is really weak. Again, I know with a point guard, I'd rather have the kind of team leadership and ball control aspect. I'd rather have that than scoring, but he's even under 4 assists a game. He's getting 20 plus minutes a game, so I would hope that he would be putting up a little bit better numbers, but so far it just hasn't happened. And we got 3 point guards right now. McMillian is probably next in terms of potential, and he's given me a few more points and assists considering the amount of minutes that he's getting, 10 minutes a game. And I go back to Mike Ivory. He's getting about the same amount of minutes, 10.4, as opposed to McMillian here, 10.4. They're getting the same amount of minutes. And McMillian is coming off a game where he had 9 points, an assist, a steal. Not a bad performance off the bench, and that was actually a win for us, one of the few wins we've had lately against Eastern Illinois at home. So I'm just kind of playing it by ear right now. I'm kind of betting on this being that kind of a season where we're setting up for next year. So I'm not, as long as I don't get too bad and the board gets upset with me and fires me, I'm hoping that I'm still got some good reputation and leeway based on last season. So hopefully I won't get fired. But Another thing I wanted to point out too is Eddie McInnes, leading scorer, 3.5 star, 4.5 star potential freshman. Really didn't expect him to be this kind of a player, even though I recruited him. I thought he was just going to be a backup, at least for his first couple seasons on the team. He has been our leading scorer by far, and when he scores, usually we win or have a better chance at winning. But here's the thing about him that I've seen in the last few games, and I've cut his minutes. I know he's really upset with playtime still, but I've cut his minutes. He's coming off a good game against Eastern Illinois, and again, when he plays well, we win. But I cut his minutes way down. He's down to 19 minutes in that game. He fouled out of the game, and you can see from Tennessee Martin, which was our first game, the last game I played last episode, our first in conference game. He's had 4, 2, 3, 5 fouls a game. So his attitude's not that great. I did one of these contact players and talked about his attitude, and instead of him being responsive to it, he got mad at me, and it impacted his relationship even more. His team relationship's growing, but his coach relationship's really low, and at this point, I don't know how to get it back. And I know cutting his playtime is going to hurt him, but unfortunately, he was just playing so poorly. Again, looking back at the game logs, he had a game against Tennessee State, 9 points, -24 on the plus minus. He was 3 for 6 in field goals. Then against Eastern Kentucky, 12 points, not too bad, but 3 for 15 shooting. Against SIU Edwardsville, which was, I feel like, his worst performance of the season so far. Maybe not negative plus minus, but he was 2 for 14 shooting, 4 fouls, 2 turnovers. He did have 5 steals, but his shooting has been so bad these last few games that I feel like I need to back off a little bit with him, let him develop a little bit more, and just take the hit to his relationship rating with me, and until he gets back on track. And backup for him, we've only got a couple shooting guards here. Jensen is another one, freshman, that I recruited. He's got a 4-star potential. He's a good free throw shooter, good outside shooter. So I'm not too hesitant, even though he didn't look that great against Eastern Illinois, which is the first game where he was higher up on the depth chart. I'm still hoping to get something from him as well, and let these guys develop a little bit more evenly, and see how we go from there. So that's kind of how the team's looking right now. That's the biggest struggles are what to do with the point guard and shooting guard and those attitudes. In terms of how we've been playing, though, after that last episode, we won really easily against Tennessee Martin, 67-51. Then lost heavily against Tennessee State, 88-69. Eastern Kentucky, that was a close one, 63-59. And we made a game of it in the second half, but they blew us out in that first half, and that's why we couldn't win. And then a big loss against SIU Edwardsville, and Eastern Kentucky was a home game. That hurts even more. But SIU Edwardsville, 77-60, and we finally got back on track against Eastern Illinois, 75-68 at home. But this has been a weird start to this season so far, and I'll tell you why. Eastern Kentucky dominating, 5-0 in conference. Austin Peay, Belmont, not so much. Belmont already 2 losses in the conference. I'm really kind of stunned at what they've been doing. They lost on the road to Southeast Missouri and SIU Edwardsville, so it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be like the same teams dominating this conference like last year too. So Belmont may have the same deal where if I'm looking at their rosters, They may have a few guys who left. Well, the depth chart unfortunately doesn't give you their class of status, like whether they're freshman or sophomore or what. But it looks like they have a good mix of young guys here too. A lot of good potential. I mean, I wish I had this kind of potential top to bottom on my team. And I know Belmont, they just have a better reputation in conference than we do. So it's going to be hard for me to get to that level, but that's what I would like to see. Look at that. I mean, 4 stars or better for 2/3 of the team in terms of potential. So we're not there, obviously. And just to give you a contrast, I mean, we have 3 guys with 4-star better potential, 2 with 3.5, few 3s, 2.5. I mean, it's definitely a different team. So that's going to be a tough one. The other thing, one last thing I was going to mention too is under the strategy, I've kept it kind of where we're at, motion, shuffle, 5 out, trying to build on the strengths of what I hoped was the strength going in of our outside shooting. I've ramped up the offensive set usage to 70. And I watched a video from someone who online who they played the game for a while, and it was kind of a tutorial video. And one of the things they suggested with the young team, they may not know your offensive set yet. They're not proficient in it, especially when you're starting like I am, several freshmen. And so you may want to back off on that. But I'm going to go the other way, again, with the intention of kind of holding our own this season, but being in a better position next year where we can use these set offenses a little bit more, and the guys on the team are going to be more proficient and hopefully have more luck with it, more success. That's my strategy with it anyway, but we'll see. If it gets to be too bad and we start losing, I'm probably going to go the other way with that and give them more freedom, maybe go down even to 50 on the set usage per game. But hopefully the AI will handle that well. You can manually adjust some of these things in game, but I'm trying to go with certain defaults and just let it play out the way it will. But today we're going to play on the road against, and I'm probably going to have to, I'm going to have to play it, sim it ahead, but it's going to be a road game, which I thought would be a tough challenge. And it's a team that's also kind of struggling a little bit like we are. I didn't want to play Belmont at home as the next game on the channel, or Tennessee State or one of those tougher teams. Not because it would be a better game if we were able to win, and not necessarily because I don't want to show us winning a game like that, but I just feel like this is going to be a pretty good test of where we're at, how competitive we are. If we can beat a team like this on the road, I think that would be probably a good positive. If we lose to this team on the road, we're not really even as good as I was hoping. Looking at Morehead State, they are dead last in the conference right now, although they do have a little bit better overall record than Tennessee Martin. And our scouting report for this game is still giving them the nod, 55-45. They have the advantage at point guard, power forward. We have the advantage of the bench. So hopefully the way I've got those minutes set, maybe that'll help out. But this is going to be it's going to be interesting. I'm probably going to go with a favoring outside and using the offensive sets that I have been using for the most part, and just see if we can get through it. If we could manage to win this one, even though it's not a great team that we're playing, I would feel a little bit better about our team winning this one than if we were to somehow get an upset over Belmont. Surely wouldn't, at home, I wouldn't feel that great about losing to Belmont at home, I guess, and that's why I wanted to show this game. So I'm going to back off on the offensive pace, crash the boards a little bit heavier, stay with the defensive intensity for now, and let's see what kind of start we get off to. They score early. It's a 2-0 game. We draw the first foul, and that's going to be Holland, who missed two pretty easy shots inside there, but he makes both free throws. We're still struggling a little bit with free throws. We're not, as good this year as we were last year. We really missed the shooting guard we had last year. He was number one in the conference in terms of free throw shooting. He was our top scorer. I really missed that guy. And so as a turnover here, back to the game on Morehead State, we're off to a pretty good start, 9-6 lead. We got the ball back, but pass deflected out of bounds. And McInnes off to a great start here. 8 points, 2 3-pointers early. It's 12-6. And they turn it over. Our shooting has been poor in general, too. I mean, we haven't had a game where we've gotten too close to 50%, I don't think, in a while. Even the games that we won, we're not scoring a lot. Holland are shooting all that well. So Holland gets another basket, goes to the line, makes the free throw. So he's 3 for 3 in free throws today. It's a 7-point game. Looks like they're playing pretty fast-paced on their side. A good move inside from Holland. But they draw a foul on the other end. The first foul, it's been pretty clean, knock on wood so far. But it is a shooting foul. He makes them both. It's 17-10. Good move inside there from Laws, who's off the bench at power forward. Holland misses that one. That was kind of outside of his range, though. It's 19-12. Shot clock violation. We're still shooting well, though. 7 for 12, just one turnover. And they draw another foul. So they're going to go to the line for two. Makes one of two. 6-point game. But they get the ball back. And another foul. This is Marshak. Marshak is another bench player. He comes in and he automatically starts fouling, seems like. Another good move inside from Holland. He's up to 9 points. But Mike Ivory, another one, he comes out. Sometimes he starts fouling. So it's 4-2 in team fouls and another one. And this is a shooting foul. He misses the first one. Misses them both, luckily. And another 3-pointer. We're 2 for 5 in 3-point attempts and a foul on the other end. I'm going to work the ref a little bit. And we're warned, but it's 6-2 team fouls now. So that turned really quick. And they missed the shot, luckily. But we're still throwing up those 3-pointers and not making them. And another foul on the other end. This is McMillian. And it's they're in the bonus now. It's our 7th foul. They're 5 for 8 at the free throw line. It's a 4-point game, so we're going to let them get back in it at the free throw line. And we're cold shooting. Pass deflected out of bounds. And it's a 2-point game. We get a foul on the other end. But another one. They've still got plenty to give at this point, and we turn it over. And they tie it up that quick. So another thing I've noticed quite a bit with this team, Austin Peay right now, our shooting is streaky. We get really cold. And last year we were able to put away teams. Our shooting was just that good. This year we have not been able to do it, although we're at a good run right now to get back up over 8, 6-point lead, and McInnes turns it over. McInnes, though, with 10 points so far, so he's playing pretty good for him. Good move inside there from Mallet, his first 2 points. It's an 8-point game again. We get the rebound and draw the foul. There are 5 team fouls now, 6 minutes left. Oh, a big 3-pointer there from McMillian. Or who was that? I didn't see who made it. But a foul on the other end is going to send them to the line. They make one. Missed the second one. It's a 10-point game. Our biggest lead of the game, I guess, was 11. They're back to within 8, and we throw it away. And this, again, this is kind of what I'm talking about. we get a good run going and blow it with turnovers or poor string of shooting. Good shot though from Jepson right there. He's at 8 points, going to the line, makes the free throw. We're up by 11 again, and they miss a three, and we turn it over. So they draw another foul, and they make them both. Looks like we may have rushed that shot. Luckily, they throw it away on the other end. And Cromer makes the shot coming off the bench and draws the foul. Makes the free throw. 12-point lead now. That's our biggest lead of the game. And a foul from McMillian on the other end. He is not going to get much play time in the second half. It doesn't look like. Even though he's not the starter, again, I'm trying to give this point guard some decent minutes. 10-point game. Our shooting has been the best this game it's been in all year, maybe. 18 for 29. But they have a quick run there, and it's a 10-point game. Again, it's a 7-point game. They're getting really back into this game. And we foul. So from a 14-point lead, I believe, and now it's a 7-point lead. He misses the first free throw, makes the second one. 6 points with 46 seconds left. We need to have a good possession here. And Jepson draws the foul. They're up to 18 fouls now. He misses the first free throw, makes the second one. It's a 7-point game. Pass deflected out of bounds. A turnover would be nice. It is. And we get a layup on the other end. And we claw our way back up to a 9-point game to go into the half. McInnes, a great first half from him. 10 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. And the shooting has been not necessarily where it needs to be. I don't expect him to be 100%, but 4 for 4. But how about Jepson? When I looked at the scouting report, it looked to me like this team was going to be, it had the advantage, and it did say that they had the advantage inside. And Jepson primarily gets a lot of his points around the post or the perimeter or whatever, so he's having a really good game. Edwards, the power forward, Shepson, is a shooting small forward. Power forward, and Edwards, he's having a terrible game. Law's off the bench, looking a little bit better, but they're probably outmanning us quite a bit there at that position. But Holland having a great first half, 5 rebounds, 9 points. Off the bench, Cromer, 5 points. That's unusual for him. Ivory, not looking too great. 1 assist, a turnover, 2 fouls. But the shooting is where we're winning so far. 59.4% to their 44.8%. I'm going to keep things as they are. We are leading in points in the paint, but I'm going to still favor the outside in the second half and keep it going, see if we can just keep that shooting going where it was. And Jepson draws a foul right off the bat, hits both free throws. We're up by 11. He's having a great game, one of his best games of the season so far. McInnes, did he draw the foul? No, went out of bounds. And deflected out of bounds on their side. And they draw the foul and make the basket. So it's now a 6-point game. No, sorry, he missed the shot. It's a 7-point game. And we throw it away. I get so disappointed in how we cannot consistently keep a good string going. I know that's part of the game, but we do draw a foul on Kamani Wallace, his third, so he's in definite foul trouble, but we throw it away. And they draw another foul on the other end. And that was number 3 on Ivory. I don't know what he's doing out there. It looks like they may have him at center. But we get a big 3-pointer on the other end from Edwards. And then a good shot inside from Jepson. Altman turns it over, so it's a 10-point game. McInnes looks like he might be cold now. He's 0 for 2 this half, and misses a dunk there, I think, from Holland. Marshak, another foul. We're up to 3 team fouls in the half, and they're all shooting fouls too. So it's an 8-point game. Jepsen misses a long one. I don't know why he's making that one. Oh, but Holland makes a three-pointer? That's crazy. Oh, and they turned it over. Good defense on that side. McInnes, though, throws it away. It's a 9-point game. Altman called for a foul. So they're starting to get in foul trouble. It's 3-3 in team fouls. Our fouls are mainly from their bench players. But once again, McInnes, 0 for 4 this half in shooting. That's why I've had a hard time knowing what to do with this guy. Definitely don't want to give him the minutes that he's asking with that kind of a play. And it's a 7-point game. Again, he misses a three-pointer. He's just throwing. He gets to the point where he just starts throwing it up. And we can't afford to have that happen too much. We're up by 8 again, but I think they drew another foul. Is that right, or just a timeout? Now it's a foul, McInnes. So let me see if I can motivate him a little bit. Entire team, praise him a little bit. They tuned that out, but so we're gonna have Jepsen, Ivory, Mallet, Edwards, Jensen out there right now. McInnes and Holland getting a break. McMillan, he's only gotten 4 minutes. I'm almost thinking, man, how do I do this? I'd like to change him. So let's see. There we go. See if he gets a little bit better. Gives us a little bit better play. It's a 6-point game, so they're outscoring us this half because their shooting has gotten worse. We're barely over 50%. And another foul on Jepsen. Can't afford to have him out of the lineup right now. It's a 4-point game, and we're just getting fouled left and right. It's crazy. They miss it but get the rebound. Miss a three-pointer but they keep possession. And now it's a 1-point game. This has been the story of this team. I mean, we just cannot maintain momentum. We're shooting under 50% now for the game. We're missing inside layups. It's back and forth right now, but if we don't get something going, they could easily take control here. And it's just back and forth. We cannot put them away. Good play from Marshak. It's a 3-point game. 1-point game. Too much time left. They're shooting way better, and it's going to be a foul or 8. So they're going to the line every time now, every foul, and they're back up by 1. Pass deflected out of bounds. If we just get some freedom, I might ramp up the intensity, but now they're going to start running away with it. This has been the story of a lot of these close losses too, or losses that are under 10. We're losing them late, and it's because we cannot maintain the shooting, and this is, I feel like this one's about over. So we're not able to shoot. I'm just going to go all out on the defensive intensity and crash the boards a little bit more. This is really frustrating. I mean, this is, I know it's a young team, but we just are too streaky right now. And he misses both free throws, luckily, but it doesn't matter because we're just playing so poorly on the other end. Throw it away. It's a 5-point game with 2 minutes left. And we get a foul on them, but they're still, with this much time left, they're still in the bonus. Shoot threes to hopefully make it. This is so disappointing. We led most of the game, and we're going to wind up losing. Luckily a turnover, but there's under a minute left. Yeah, that's the game. I just really feel like I'm just hoping that it's who's at the buzzer. This is really frustrating. I feel like we're going to struggle with this team to even get to 500 if we can't And I know I'm still learning the game. Maybe there are things that I could do to make a difference, but um, if your team's just outmatched, or I don't know what you can do. So they came back and outscored us by 11 in the second half, and we literally led, I think, um, most of the game, and wound up losing it at the end just on terrible, terrible shooting. Um, Wound up shooting from at 60% shooting in the. I wish it would give you the halves too, but we were over 60% for a lot of that first half. Went into halftime just at what was it, 59.4% shooting, and we wind up at 47.7. So that's so damaging. And McInnes did not score in the second half. Um, so he's obviously not ready to be the starter. I don't think. Well, he's the starter because he's the best rated, but he's obviously not ready to be a big time type player. He's not gonna. He's definitely not gonna be consistent enough. And like last season, if you were watched our playthrough from or my playthrough from last season, Martin was consistent. That guy was almost every game. If he didn't give you um, a lot of points, he would get rebounds and he would go to the line a lot. And it's just really hit or miss for McInnes. So even though he's my leading scorer, he's not. I guess I'm saying the captain, if you want to call it that. He's not the go-to guy on this team. On the other hand, Jepson and Holland, both those guys had uh, great games for him. Holland 7 rebounds, 9 rebounds from Jepson. He had just a great game, his best game of the year. Off the bench, Mallet looked pretty decent. Laws again, he looked good, better than Edwards. And I talked about that, I guess, last time. I'm still starting Edwards because Laws, he doesn't really care too much about his play time. So I think if maybe the depth chart with him coming off the bench, maybe he plays better that way. I'm not sure, but I don't think he's good enough to be the starter. So I don't want to make him the starter. I just want to make sure he gets a decent amount of minutes. Unfortunately, he didn't really get a whole lot of minutes in this game. Ivory, I don't know what to say about this guy. 4 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. 12 minutes. I mean, McMillian wasn't even any better. He 3 personal fouls and a turnover. He did get 3 assists for what it's worth. But then Cunningham, 3 points, 3 turnovers, 3 fouls. That's just, I know right now I'm probably going to have to improve at point guard in recruiting next season. So this one was a disappointing. I guess you can probably hear it in my voice. This was a really disappointing game, and it told me kind of this is why I wanted to play this one out and show it on the channel, because I think it shows me where this team's at. We are well, getting some emails coming in, but let me well, what's it doing? Okay, so we are a bottom team, and I feel that that's accurate. Unfortunately, after that game, I think that's where we're at. We may sneak some wins in here and there, but I think the odds of us making it to 500, even in conference, are really low right now. So not the season I was hoping for, but it's just what you got to deal with. Taking a look at the next couple scouting reports, I think it's almost guaranteed that unless we're at home, we're going to be matched up against everybody we play. And again, here's case in point: Jacksonville State. I think we're going to be underdogs against every team we play. Maybe not Tennessee Martin. We're ready to beat them, but there's going to be few teams we're going to be able to win against straight up. So disappointing. In terms of the rest of the conference, Eastern Kentucky finally got a loss. So it looks like they may have lost big against Belmont. Is that right? Let me take a look at. Now, They lost to Eastern Illinois. SIU Edwardsville lost to Tennessee State. So it's the only good thing may be that maybe it's going to be a toss-up type year, where there's nobody going to run away with it. I think us and Belmont last season were, only 2 or 3 losses in conference for the year. There may not be that kind of a run from any of these guys this year, but I don't think we're going to be up there towards the top this year. But that's okay if we keep our job and we transition. And I just want to make sure that these guys develop going into next year so that we're in better shape. But wow, I'm worried. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching and liking my videos and comments and everything else. I hope you like the series and you want me to continue. Let me know if you do or don't. But I'm going to keep playing. Again, just to give you my idea, I'm hoping to build this team back into a winner and then get a good job offer at a more prestigious conference. That's my goal. Right now, this team came into the year with a 2 prestige. Conference prestige is just 1.5. So I'm hoping that we don't lose that team prestige. That would be a big blow, and it's looking like we might if we keep this up. But I want to get our prestige up a little bit and then go to a bigger time or bigger name conference in my next coaching job. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next episode.